Hey, what's up, everybody? This is our subscriber stream Thursday night here on lichess. I do not play 1-minute bullet chess due to my fantastic mouse skills. So, obviously, we're not taking part in the lichess title arena. I'd really like it if it was 3-0. I would definitely think about taking part, but 1-0 is not my thing. So we're going to be doing our subscriber stream here, and I want to thank already several subscribers showing up. I Take Back and Clash Kid are here. These guys have actually... Clash Kid not yet. We've got suggestions for game analysis from Take Back. Nefidov, who's not here yet. Yes, he is. Take Back, Nefidov. Also, thanks for subscribing. I guess that's the only ones yet. Mr. Coffee I didn't notice online. And I think I forgot to do his game the other day. Ayeste. So we're going to play Blitz and also do game analysis with subscribers. Clash Kid, it's more... Subscription is a good thing. Listen, just a little bit of a bit of help. If anybody amongst you guys who are watching regularly, and actually anybody who's watching, wants to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube, I've got the, I got the name. It's not a link, but I've got the name up on the... I've been kind of not talking too much about my YouTube channel lately, but I need a little help because I need to get to 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, or they'll demonetize my channel, which would be kind of stupid because I have 960 something subscribers. But they created new rules on YouTube, so I need to have at least 1,000 subscribers to keep the channel in the status that it's in. So if any of you guys haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's free, just subscribe and click the button. I'd really appreciate it that you guys can do that. So I know that a lot of you already have, or else I wouldn't be up to almost 1,000 subscribers. But if you haven't, or you get your mom to subscribe or something like that's cool, or your girlfriend, it's absolutely, it's fine, it's welcome. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. So I just need 37 subscribers to be safe from being canceled from the YouTube monetization program. I don't really make a lot of money from YouTube anyway, but in the future I might get much more active with it, so I'd rather have the option. So thanks to you guys for subscribing over there, and thanks to you guys for subscribing here on Twitch. That's the focus of the stream today. Saying thank you to you guys, and Ket's let me do it with the other girlfriend. Yeah, it's a chess stream. I forgot. Oh my god, what am I thinking? Well, I said moms, right? Ask your mom to subscribe. I think we'll have much more success with that method than the girlfriend theory. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, I'm going to scare everyone off with my full beard today. We've got the beard. I have been pretty busy in the last 2 weeks, and I was sick before. I'm better now, pretty much. Hey, if you aren't a subscriber, are you allowed to be here? Yes, you're allowed to be here. Just that I will favor the subscribers with game analysis, and I will play them, primarily on the subscriber stream. On my regular other streams, I play pretty much anybody. Still, the subscribers will get first dibs as far as challenges go. So, one last time, just please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I only need a few people to subscribe, just to stay over 1,000. And then again, thanks to you guys for subscribing here on Twitch. It's awesome that we can do this. So, everything looks good. We're going to play Blitz and some Rapid Chess, and also do game analysis. So usually we get to maybe take a look at 5 or 6 subscriber games that have been suggested to me. If you have an interesting game, you're a subscriber, you want me to look at a game here on the stream, just send it to me in a link or a message on lichess to my handle over there. Hey, what's up, guys? Arsenal fan, Serbian Santa Claus, Saul, thanks for subscribing. If anybody's a subscriber wants me to take a look at a game, send me a message on lichess. If for some reason you can't send me a message on lichess, you can send it to my moderator, Soltigo, here in Twitch. You can give it to him in Twitch and he can send me a message. I know Ayesta had to do that. I'm not sure I understood why, but that's how it works. So you got 2 ways to send me a game if you want to take a look. Let's start with the Blitz game against Ayesta. Troll is not a subscriber, so I'm going to hold off on him. he's a former subscriber for 1 month. He's not a record holder. But we'll start with the rapid game against Ayeste. You're doing puzzles and you're stuck at 25-10. Alright. How many times have we played this? Now, due to the move order, it's kind of weird. Like, what's up with d5 here? White could play knight to b5, forcing me to play knight a6. That would be weird. And then c4 or something with a reversed... Now d5 is actually interesting. Knight f6, e4, though, is just a Pierce. Like a kind of weird Pierce. You saw me playing on YouTube. Well, I don't have a live YouTube stream. Maybe you saw someone else. Well, didn't know you had a variation in the Nimzo defense. Appears I played it against Alpha Zero. But is this another troll thing? What's your deal with the Alpha Zero trolls? I don't think I have a variation in the Nimzo. Bishop d3 is very often played in London, even by GMs. I just wanted to mention that. Clash Kid, you're talking about the game with Poppets? It's often played in London, but is it often played against a structure where black's playing King's Indian style with pawns on d6 instead of d5? Generally speaking, I think you normally put the bishop on e2 in the d6 structures and put the bishop on d3 in the d5 structures with white. So, you know, they're actually quite different depending on how black is set up. That's the real question. Now here, Ayeste played knight e5 super early in this position. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. I guess this looks like a logical move, you know, just challenging the strong knight on e5. But interestingly, the way the game went with Poppets yesterday, actually knight takes d7. Kind of weird. Any recapture is a little bit awkward for me here. It's definitely strange. King takes would be a funny recapture. No, but we had a game the other day, I don't remember, it was yesterday, before yesterday, with bishop d3 against Poppets in the Blitz tournament, or maybe yesterday. And the thing is, he played like bishop d3, and I tried to punish him with a very quick e5, e4, like kind of overextending myself. I think that was a bad thing for me to do. It was just too ambitious. Is this the Slav defense with black? It's kind of like a Slav defense in that I've played c6, but it's actually anti-Grunfeld. I would classify it as an anti-Grunfeld variation. It also could be classified as Veresov opening, d4, d5, knight c3. So there's a couple possibilities. I don't know if it's safe to castle here or not. Would be more ambitious to play it differently. I think he could have played h4 there, a la Mark Hebden. But Ayeste playing this pretty close to the vest, as they say. Close to the vest. Rook e8, f4 bothers me a little bit. Though I don't really know what else I have here. Bishop f5 just gets met by f3. So this way I threaten e5. If he plays f4, I guess I'll play bishop f5 and clamp down on e4. And black isn't better, but he probably should be okay. So Ayeste doesn't go for that. He lets me play e5. He's playing too fast. You know, a lot of people do this when, say, they've been playing like 3-0 all day and they can't change speeds. He needs to take more time. It's like a 6-3 increment game. Okay, Elena. I hope he can play. I agree. But a little bit too quick play by Mr. Ayesta here. Giving me a slight superiority now, the d5 pawn. Just gives black the stronger center. So I think he's in fast mode. You got in 6 subscribers on your YouTube channel with my other accounts. Don't tell anybody about that. Jeez. Don't worry, I'm sure like a lot of like, oh, mouse. That's why I can't play in the 1 minute tournament, among other things. Rook c8, triple exclam. Not the destination square for my rook. My mouse does that sometimes. Yesterday it happened with a, how do we call this, a vertical rook move, and like fortunately by a miracle, the mouse dropped it on a the mouse dropped it on a playable square, but that was a very nasty tempo to lose here. Did not want to lose that tempo. Rook c8, like an absolutely useless move. I don't know what makes the mouse do that. It's really, really into that. Now he's heading for f3 when my rook will be basically trapped. Maybe I'll have rook h5 though. We can try to make it work. Make it work. It's a little bit frisky, but I don't see another option here. Primitive threats against his king side, but white's very, very solid now. Maybe I can play like queen d6. Aniket, that's very kind of you. You know, hopefully we'll make it over the 1,000 mark on my YouTube channel. Honestly, you know, in all fairness, I've been kind of negligent with the YouTube channel. I haven't been working on it too much. I've been busy with other stuff and focusing on the Twitch stream, but I do want to get back to the YouTube channel. All right. I put all the streams over there, you know, so if you want to watch one of the old streams, you have to go over to YouTube and watch it. And now what? Queen? Maybe a queen move, attacking h2. Maybe I can seriously sacrifice a piece here. Queen c7. Is that sound? But I can't really sack a piece, can I? I mean, h3 might end up being a useful move for white. If I can't actually sacrifice a piece there. Queen c7, h3, bishop takes h3, pawn takes h3, rook takes h3. And then he has interesting king g2 type of moves. I doubt that it's really sound for me. So I don't know. Knight e4. It's a logical move to some extent. We might have sacrificial possibilities here. Sacrificial lamb. Cryptographic sponge. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. I just need to get over 1,000, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but YouTube changed their rules. It wasn't an issue until this month. You didn't have to have 1,000 subscribers, but they changed the rules, and I'm like 37 short. So luckily there's like a grace period of 25 days, so I've got time to get my 37 subscribers. We're just bearing down on h2, on f2. Rook h5 was a little bit ambitious. Oh, I have some nasty stuff here though, like bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, rook takes h2. I'm sorry, I did Emery Tate by accident. We've got to have something now. This has got to be a really strong attack. Knight g5. Bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, rook takes h2 is like a draw at best. Actually has a funny defense there. The only issue is time. But now his queen is like really out of play. I can feel it. The Mamajara of nature of Black's position. Mamajara making like all draws. It's really funny in the super tournament in Tata. I think he's not used to playing a. Well, he is actually. I mean, he's played a lot of Super Grandmaster tournaments. But it's funny to see a player like that who's so dynamic making a lot of draws. I have 976 now. You guys are awesome. Okay, G3. Probing the weak squares. But my time is a little bit low. I think Wade made a mistake with Queen C1. We've got that piece just out of play. Actually, his heavy piece is not working well here. Do I have a sacrifice? Do I hear a sacrifice like knight takes f2 at some point? I really need this rook as the wild card. I need the e8 rook to actually take part in the attack. I think c4 is logical. Brute force. Yeah, I think he almost has to do that. But this looks very strong. There's almost no way to save himself. The wild card. The wild card will decide. Need the rook on e8 to play. Does that work? Oh no. You've got enough time. I mated myself in a simul in a similar way last time around. I blundered this back rank mate in the simul. But there's no defense there for white at the end. It's actually mate in 3. Rook h2, knight h3 check. And he has to sack the rook on h3. And then it's just mate. So Ayesta got into a very passive way in this position. Looks like it's already lost for white, I guess, no matter what he does here. Too many weaknesses around the king side. So Thank you guys for subscribing. I'm wondering about like the opening though. Did I play this correctly? Allowing him to play like h4, maybe not good. Miklos Galiash. I lost to him 2 weeks ago. And here I thought, okay, bishop h6, castles, maybe h4 now. Why can't you play this? Well, apparently it's just too slow. Okay, because I take on h6 and I play queen b6 and I'm double attacking d4 and b2. That's, you can sack a pawn maybe. Alright, I don't know. It looks like they're supposed to play bishop h6 earlier. Stefanova Antonetta. Stefanova plays this line for white. Sotovsky played it against Kasparov once, this variation. Sotovsky Kasparov was like a draw in the 90s. I don't know. What should white do? You know, here, 95. Chatel Bashev, my former teammate from last year. Bishop h6 is the main move. And then I guess we play like Peart style with bishop takes h6 and just not castle. No, it looks like Heby's got a game against David Howe that he won. Castles into it. And now h4. And this is Hebden versus some guy back in 1991. We can try to do the same thing basically in an even more scarier situation. The queen b6 looks dangerous. Anyway, this is a pretty well-known line. There was this book. I have the book here. It's called this Soviet Chess Conveyor. Can you guys see that? Soviet Chess Conveyor by Shereshevsky. He actually recommended this line with white to his students, I think, as a kind of easy way to play a system. I tried it a few times with white, but I never had a lot of success. All right, let's go to a game analysis. We've got, I guess Nefedov was the first one. Let me make sure. Yeah, I think Nefedov was the first one to submit a game analysis for today. He said his clash with an Austrian kid against Popitz, or his game against Serbian Santa Claus, so I can pick which one I like. Another one of those, that would be thematic if we did another one of those. Yeah, like, let's do it. It's like a theme for the day. So, actually Nefedov here playing black, one of our subscribers, if Neffy's in the stream. But Popitz, this was we were talking about a little while ago. Popitz played a London system against me, and he played it with bishop d3 in a King's Indian type of structure. And that's what Clash Kid was asking, you know, is it necessarily good or not? So Nefedov played g6. I think it's like the safest king side. Don't call me kid, said Nefedov. Yeah, we don't know if he's a kid or not. I don't know why Nefedov just assumes like Clash Kid is a kid. Because he's called Kid, right? You're called Kid. Do you realize that? You know that your name has Kid in it. I just realized. So you can't really blame him. Okay, so bishop f4. Knight c3, and now Nefedov decided not to play d5. I think that d5, obviously transposing to the last game, is the most principled move, but it's not forced. I mean, bishop f4 is not necessarily the ideal play, I mean, or square for a bishop against the Peart's type of pawn structure. It's kind of unusual. So Nefedov just lets him play e4, basically. Most people play e4 here, but Is bishop f4 really a normal line against the Pirts? You know, that's the thing. Not really. You know, it usually doesn't go to f4 because it's vulnerable to tactics based on e5. Nakamura Aronian from 2014, Aronian versus Nepomniachtchi from 2017, and Grishuk versus Wang Yui, and Grishuk against Nepomniachtchi. So there's a lot of good games in this. Queen d2 was played by the vast majority of players. That's definitely like the most aggressive move in the sound, among the sound options for white. You could play like h4 or something crazy. F3, you know, ends up in a modern F3 variation where you put the bishop on F4 instead of on E3. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think knight F3 is probably okay. But other than that, I guess Queen E2. Queen E2 makes too much. Queen D2 makes too much sense. Move 11 said, did you experiment with most of the other Sicilians before settling on a Scheveningen? So I might have told some people that, like, when I started playing the Sicilian, I started playing the Scheveningen. No, it wasn't really any reason other than the fact that I was like shopping for chess books and I found this really awesome book back in the late 80s by Alexander Nikitin, who was Kasparov's like trainer. And Nikitin and Kasparov collaborated on a really awesome book on the Scheveningen, and Kasparov had played the Scheveningen in his early career on a very high level, so I thought, okay, I'll play the Scheveningen. You know, I was like a 1700 player, a 1600 player. No, I never really tried anything else. I just learned that first, and then I stuck with it for a while. Later, I decided it was kind of a little bit passive, and I wanted to explore other variations. So, now if you have castles here, it's interesting if you look at the statistics. Vast majority of players play modern style with like c6. But you've already put the bishop on g7. c6. Computer is actually suggesting a6, and I don't see anything grossly wrong with a6. It's only been played experimentally in a couple of games. But castling into it, castle's queenside looks very sharp, and this is a Wei Yi game. Simon Williams against Claudia Coulon from 2017. I feel like black is kind of, there's an Adorian game from 1978. Black's kind of castled into it a little bit early. I would think I'd prefer to play like the c6 and keep my options open to rather than castles. I'm kind of with those guys who played c6. We could take on h6 and just not castle, you know. It could just transpose to a 150 attack or whatever they're called, wouldn't it? It wouldn't matter if the bishop is coming from e3 or f4, right? If it goes to h6, isn't this going to just transpose to whatever those attacks with the bishop on e3, queen e2, and no f3? Look at that jump of all those games are suddenly appearing, because that's all those games with bishop e3 instead of bishop f4, or bishop g5 instead of bishop f4. That's two other variations that will actually transpose into the same position. So I don't know, is there some way that you can exploit the bishop on f4 here? It looks like knight c6 is kind of interesting. Aronian and Nepomniachtchi and Vassier, they all played this. Not a coincidence, maybe, because we can try to do like knight takes d4 or e5, taking advantage of the bishop on f4. That's the key question, right? So castle's queenside, and now there's no knight takes d4. No knight takes d4 because of queen takes d4, e5. Bishop takes e5. Unfortunately, we have a slight problem, Houston. So we can't do this fork trick, and we can't even do this. I guess we could do this. D takes e5, but we're just going to drop a pawn again. So there's no way to make this work, and you just have to like castle anyway. Grishuk Nepomniachtchi. Now we're threatening tricks with like knight takes d4. So if we can punish the bishop on f4 in some way, you know, this is the way to try to do it, I guess. Let's say bishop h6. Rockport, there's a lot of games, but Rockport game. e5. Bishop takes g7, king takes g7. Just a position. I mean, Rockport didn't win because of the opening. So anyway, knight c6 is another option. But Nefi just castles. White castles, now c5. Okay, that doesn't look right. I mean, I don't see how that really works with this situation, but we'll see. So c5 is like a mistake. Just taking. White has to take, because if he doesn't take, he ends up playing a weird dragon, and if he does play d5, he's castle queenside in the Benoni, which is in my experience not a really good idea. You just don't want to castle queenside. Here's a Seaman Agustin game from 1985. It's just not a good idea to castle queenside in the Benoni. Okay, so d takes c5. Basically, black sacked a pawn. Speculative pawn sacrifice, dragon style. I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. Queen a5 or something. And now he's threatening pawn takes e7 and bishop d6. So this is a bit of an issue. Thus he takes back. And now white should just be thinking about consolidation, I think. Hey, I'm up a pawn for nothing. Let's just like cool down the position a little bit somehow. But it's not that easy to do that, I guess. Queen takes d6. Black definitely doesn't want to trade queens. So if we do that, I would imagine black has to avoid the exchange of queens. Queen a5. Or would be best off avoiding the exchange of queens with some real dragon-like play here. Apparently white has queen c7 or some weird moves, trading queens, trying to trade queens. But that would be the best practical chance. Instead, Poppets plays the best move according to the engine. Sacking the exchange, it's a little over the top with knight c6, so rook e8, now knight f3. But this was an uncharacteristic game for Nefedov, you know, playing the modern defense and sacrificing material isn't normally like his modus. Knight f3 is just like a normal developing move. It's funny how the computer wants to play either e5 or f4 with like a really, actually kind of positional concept. I think the concept is to blot out the bishop on g7. So this isn't about like some kingside attack. This is about just stuffing this bishop on g7 with e5 physically. That's actually looking really, really logical here. So Poppets makes a kind of human move here, knight f3, developing a piece, but it doesn't support e5 that well. So black still has chances as long as like he can't play e5 and hold it. These bishops, as long as these bishops are raking the queen side, that's a good arrow. I think that black has practical chances no matter if he's down one or two pawns. As long as the queens are on the board and we've got those bishops raking the diagonals, we're good, you know, practically speaking. Queen a5, definitely necessary here. And he just blundered the tactic from hell. Ooh, that's not good. So wow, it looks like you're facing double threats. Knight e4 and bishop takes a2. So you just can't meet them both. And you could take on c6, but that opens the b file, looks very dangerous. This is actually a really, really tricky looking situation. Computer wants to play e5 anyway. Once again, blotting out the bishop on g7. But this looks kind of unclear. Knight d5, knight takes d5. We have intermezzos. Queen takes a2, c3. Is this even good? Maybe there's another knight move like here. Or even here. That makes the most sense to attack e5 again, I would guess. No? No, it seems like white would be better if he's a computer, but in a practical game, black has some threats here, so it's not that easy. So really good practical play by Nefedov. He just took the queen. Okay, it's over. Yeah, that was a one-move blunder, but anyway, it wasn't that easy for Poppets to play the position. I can understand. Not a sound opening by black. I think the pawn sack is probably not correct, but in a fast game, this was 5-0 blitz. Absolutely, like, viable. All right, now I've got a challenge from Clash Kid, and he's the next subscriber on the list. If you guys could subscribe, I would really appreciate to get some new subscribers here on Twitch. Kids shouldn't smoking cigars. All right, man. Grass is bad too, and everything. Just don't smoke anything if you're a kid. Clash Kid e4. We've played 57 games. I don't remember what Clash Kid plays against the Caro-Kann now. Oh. Was this what we had before? Really? We're playing the Bobby Fischer exchange variation. I don't recall playing this with you before, but it's probably just my geriatric memory. Knight e2. Avoiding the main lines. And then e5 is like an IQP position, which is slightly more pleasant for white. Maybe we had this before? I don't remember. Okay, let's try a Tom Bartel, aka Spinal Tap chess type of setup with g6. It's not my usual approach, but I don't know, somehow maybe with the knight on e2 it makes more sense. If knight g3 we can play h5, h4. We've got bishop f5 ideas. It's my own idea to challenge bishop d6, usually doesn't work. What do you mean to challenge bishop d6? Now h3 would transpose to a game. Yeah, the h3 would work. Well, there's another variation, okay? Instead of knight e2, one Hungarian IM plays this h3 variation. I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. A really solid guy. We had like a 20 move draw in this line. h3, e5, I think. So it's, you know, it's similar to that. I don't know about bishop f5 or not, because you have g4. That's an idea that I've actually used against Clash Kid in the Slav. Clash Kid plays Schlechter Slav with black, so he probably kind of, you know, understands this type of position, at least from my perspective. Anyway, I don't know. We'll just play like solidly. The problem with black structure, as in the Schlechter Slav, is that there really aren't any breaks. There's no e5 without getting an isolated pawn. But anyways, I mean, I think that black is really solid here. Am I playing in the bullet tournament? Just a Spot asked. If I wasn't already slow and bad at bullet because of my mouse skills, I have a horrible mouse that drops pieces in mid-move. So I think it wouldn't be a good idea. I would play if it was 3-0, but I'm not going to do faster than 3-0. I would definitely play in a title tournament with 3-0, but the 1-0 is hopeless. Even if I wasn't all my life horrible with mouse, with this mouse, I'm like 1500. It just randomly drops pieces like midway in the middle of my move. I got to get out to the electronics store and buy another mouse. I could play knight h5 here and e5. Bishop f5 is possible, but my kingside, maybe now I could do it because he's castled kingside as well. Alright, whatever, let's try it. It's a move. He's castle kingside, I'm castle kingside. I'm probably okay doing this, but you have to be careful. Once I did bishop f4 in a Stonewall Dutch and got checkmated really bad, it may still be bad for me. We have to talk to not Justice Bot. Three syllable names. Spinal Tap Chess. Justice Bot is 3 syllables. Spinal Tap Chess is 4. Sparkle Horse, that's 3. So actually Spinal Tap Chess is what I was trying to remember. Spinal Tap plays the Caro-Kann with g6 in these lines. I don't normally play these type of positions with the g6. I think I tried it like years ago. It's just so solid for white. Well, actually the whole exchange variation is just so solid for white. Can I play queen b6 and grab the pawn on b2? Justice Bot should play in the 1 minute tournament because he's good at 1 minute. I would play if I wasn't just hopeless in 1 minute chess. I think on ICC I had like a few hundred games. I was probably like 2300 at best in 1 minute chess, but that was like 10 years ago. Minority attack would be good, but I just don't think it's that realistic here. But we'll just make routine moves. What do you recommend against that? The e5 variation. You type c5. Oh, c5 for black. Wait, what are we looking at? You're talking about e5. You just mistyped it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, both bishop f5 and c5 are playable. I think that bishop f5 is better. Probably better. They're both fine. I think it's just complicated. There's a lot of high-level games in the advanced Caro-Kann. I mean, it's like the main line now. Well, it has been for like 20 years, basically. They call the main line, but the actual main line of the Caro-Kann might be the advanced variation. I have queen b6 trying to attack the b2 pawn, but it doesn't do a whole lot. And this whole position is just pretty lame. His knight is bad. That's the only thing I really have going for me. Other than that, it's like totally equal. I don't have a plan. I don't have a pawn break. I don't have a minority attack because of the stupid bishop on f4. I can't play rook b8. But I'm solid. My king is safe, you know. That's the upside of all this. Alright, what am I going to do? Make some kind of routine move. Put my rook on the half open file that goes nowhere. How or where do you get the opportunity to beat 21 to 2200 FIDE rated players? I get the opportunity to beat them in the Hungarian and Budapest team championships. They're the only thing keeping me from being like a FIDE master. I'm good at beating 2100s. That's like my forte. Years of playing in club tournaments in the United States makes me an authority on rabbit bashing. Maybe I should... Now he's going to like f3, so he's got a good square for that guy. Alright, we'll see what he does now. I'm running out of time. Wow, Clash Kid is getting faster. He said he's not good at blitz. I mean game-wise, not where you play. What do you mean? I'm an international master. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Well, the wording messed me up with that question. How or where do you get the opportunity? Oh, how do you beat them? They just make mistakes. 21, 2200s, yeah, they make a lot of mistakes. Usually like across the board. But it depends. Everyone's different, you know. At that level, everyone has different kind of weaknesses. It's really on a case-by-case basis. My rooks are stupid. This is classic, like, annoying exchange variation. Knight f3. The problem is that I have no pawn breaks, and that's why I don't like playing this variation. But I thought he played this weird 92 system and I didn't know what to do. Maybe we can get somebody like, all right. Wow, we have a good friend there. Creating troll accounts by the dozen, by the boatload. Knight d7, and we're trying to play maybe e5, b5. Does lichess have the capability to block people's ISPs? They probably do, but then they have like proxies and stuff, and you can't like even know what their real ISP is. We played in a tournament and I was winning, and this person went out of the room, came back and played the Amazing Sacrifice. It's possible. It's just a coincidence. But, you know, I would bring it to the attention of the arbiter if that happened. It's not clear they're going to be able to do anything, but all right, we've got just 2 minutes left. Now he's retreating. I really want to play b5, but I can't do it. I think we can't do e5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Take, 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 take. He's still on it too many times. It's funny, he was talking about this whole bishop d6 thing before, basically. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do here. This move looks wrong, but I'm running out of time and I don't know what to do. Yeah, well, obviously it's the same guy. Maybe he should be banned from lichess. It's probably the same guy that was trolling us before. I don't know who it could be, though. I don't have anyone that hates me that much. It's really strange. It's got to be someone I've never ever met who just randomly likes to mess with people. Not an actual enemy in real life. Knight c4. Right. Yeah, he just went back again. That's super irritating. Well, I could even play like b4. What if I go queen somewhere and then try to put my queen on f5 to challenge his queen on d3? Like queen f6 followed by queen f5. Get my own queen trapped, perhaps. Maybe I can maraud with my queen. If we have like queen f6, queen f5, and he avoids the exchange of queens, I could play something like queen c2, trying to get my queen trapped. Probably successfully too. Not enough time for this crazy closed position. Okay, getting nervous during a tournament game and going to the bathroom frequently. I mean, there was the toilet gate with Kramnik and Topalov. That's a typical situation, and a lot of people made a big deal out of nothing, in my opinion. Namely, Topalov's manager. But this is just horrible to play this kind of position. It's just appalling. I mean, I hate this kind of closed position. Now my queen is trapped. We'll have to go through c2. Man, Clash Kid, you should seriously try to trap my queen. You played like masterfully this entire game, but I still can't even play b5. And I'm about to lose on time. Extremely tough. I don't want to repeat this position again. I think I once had a tournament game in a line something like this. Maybe if I have more time I can do something here. I like my structure. Probably I could have played and should have played bishop h6 at some point. Hint, hint. Maybe with Nefedov I had a game like this once. Do you remember that? But there he should definitely play bishop f4, keeping me contained. It's still extremely closed. This was an epic game. It's only 24 moves and it's already like 15 minutes. I think the game is hard for both sides. It's extremely hard to do anything for both sides. But I've got more dynamics now than I used to. I might even be able to play b5 at some point. There was the A file. You know, if I tried to play b5 a minute ago, he would get me on the A file. We can't have that, and we can't have what else? Well, Clash Kid drifted in a good position. He was slightly better the whole way. Then just a few passive moves. Particularly, I guess I would particularly point to, not sure about this move, honestly. I could point to not trading queens as a really good idea for white. I think my queen was virtually trapped on f5. And then not playing bishop f4. Maybe he just gets kind of nervous in time pressure. Now this is a nice little subtle threat. Oh, there is though the knight sack on that anyway. Maybe I should take his knight off, man. But he's still got the combination. Damn. Alright. I can't be having any of that. Knight takes f5. That is not allowed. Oh no. Oh no, this happened to Knightich once against somebody. But at least my bishop can go out to f8. Mother. I should have traded that guy when I had the chance. Well, Knight had it once some kind of thing against somebody in a Queen's Gambit declined with an even worse structure, and his bishop just got cemented. But here at least it can bounce back out. He's tied down. Maybe we can get something going. The minority attack. It's only 100 moves too late. We have c4 there, for whatever that's worth. Maybe he should have played it there. But he's melting now. Okay, still not that easy to win. How do you guys like bishop endgames? Well, he freed his bishop. Not a bad idea. Getting kind of dizzy. The outside pawn should really be a winner. A winner. That's fine. Too many pawns on the dark squares. Outside pawn wins. I guess it would be a draw if I didn't have an A pawn. I hope I can get through. It looks like we can. We've got A5, A4, and then into the white squares. At the very least, a decoy sacrifice. E5 is strong. A good fight by Clash Kid. We're going to go back to another game analysis. A lot of people are underrated here. I agree with you. Who said that? Serbian Santa Claus. Yeah, Clash Kid is underrated. Nefedov. Okay, these guys don't care that much, I guess, about their blitz rating. Serbian Santa Claus is really strong in fast blitz. We found that out the other day in the first round of my viewer tournament. Clash Kid's offering a draw. I think it was a misclick. I do that all the time. I misclick draw offer. But that position was a brutal mess. Like, I thought you were better, honestly. If you go anywhere in the middle of the game, like around move 20, after move 20 I can breathe. But if you play queen e2 here, am I like getting my queen trapped or something? I was terrified. Oh, I have queen f4. I didn't realize. So you have to go queen e3. All right, not to give me queen f4. But then I have e5. So my queen doesn't get trapped. I was concerned. I was like, oh my god, my queen is trapped. On a practical level, this move, I still have e5. Luckily, you know, because I'm like scared my queen is concretely getting trapped with g4, but I happen to have like, what, queen e6? So that's, okay, the queen c2 thing. Easy for a computer to say, but I was a little bit worried. My only strength is that I don't make a lot of like overt blunders. my biggest strength is not blundering. All right. All right, guys, let's take a look at another game from the subscribers. We did Nefedov. Mr. Coffee's not here. I thought I was going to do one of his games, but he's not here. I take back, I guess. I take back. I hope he's still here. Didn't see him in the chat there until except for much earlier. Please consider the following game to analyze. No stockfish. He likes the comments more useful. He finds the comments more useful without it. Okay, let's do that. Wait, did he say what color he was? Come on. Hopefully he's here. He didn't leave. Oh, he is. Okay. Which color were you? It's question mark versus question mark. Pure fan. So which color are you? You're black. All right, playing the Alekine's defense. We're not going to leave the stockfish on. You know, I think at my level it's okay to like leave the stockfish on, but even at my level you can get kind of biased, and it makes you lazy. I agree, you know. But I also don't like to deny, you know, deny reality. In a way, like stockfish is like reality. I like having reality at my fingertips, but all right. Let's analyze without the engine. So it's an e4, knight f6, e5, knight d5, d4, d6, c4, knight b6, knight f3, and now bishop g4, or pawn takes pawn. Actually, I guess bishop g4 and g6 are the most common moves. g6 looks like a good way, like if you really want to play the maximally tense, complicated game. I mean, I think that would be the best choice. Probably riskier than bishop g4 or d takes e5, but the most complicated option would be to play. I'm not sure about d takes e5. See, d takes e5, knight takes e5. And then you could play g6. You could play a lot of things. It's really tempting to play knight c6, but that wrecks your structure too much. Knight d7. This is actually playable for black. So the most complicated g6. Bishop g4 is like standard, I guess. But you play knight c6. We had a discussion about this like a few months ago. Or no, I'm getting something confused with the four pawns attack. All right, I'm thinking of another analysis session. There was something with the four pawns attack, but that's different. Okay, so this did crop up in discussion in the stream once. Maybe it was a long time ago, like 8 months ago. I don't remember. In the old books, I thought this was just a mistake because of e6. You know, that was what I was like originally taught in some old Alekine's defense books, because bishop takes d5 and white wins a piece. You know, you have to take with the pawn. I guess this is like some really crazy and difficult position to play. Ivanchuk played it with black. Draw with Ponomaryov, and then there's one Aronian game from long ago when he was young. And there's a Vaganyan game where he lost to... Okay, this is an extremely risky line to play with black. So you better know what you're doing with the knight c6. And I'm not sure that the risks, you know, justify the rewards. I mean, how many ways is white going to mess this up, really? You know, what traps do we have, really? Well, there's a new Nakamura game against Grigorians. Some people might take on d6, I guess. I bet that's what Grigorians did. Let's see. Yeah, that's unambitious, you know. It's unambitious. And I think that's kind of weak. But he may have been intimidated by Nakamura. So knight c3 looks weird, but it's apparently been played. Nevednichi is a tricky player. He lost. Knight c3. Wow. So d takes e5, d5. That's the idea. And Tibiakov won a game here in 2016. That looks just good for white. You know, I think that's just a concrete blunder. So it looks like you have to go bishop g4. Someone even played e6 there. That's kind of mental. But we can transpose back into a mainline Aliekin's defense here, I guess. Can't we transpose back into a mainline? I mean, if bishop e2, d takes e5, I swear I had a game like this in one of my simuls. I had this game in one of my simuls. I was black. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't this it? Where the guy sacked the pawn, and I think it was a Brazilian guy, ironically, because this is a Brazilian game. Carlos Pigzilla. Pigzilla was a certain Brazilian grandmaster's handle on ICC. Was making fun of this guy, I think. But I think this was the exact game I had, man. This was a simul game I played on lichess like a couple of months ago against certain like pretty strong dude. So we can't take on e5. We should just play e6. And doesn't that transpose back? I would think this would transpose back into some kind of main line. We have to play bishop e3, and there's no games. Why does this not transpose back into a normal line? That's weird. All right, I'm confused. So e6 looks like that's nothing. What's wrong with bishop e2? Okay, just the one game there. Okay, that's not clear though. The game was unclear. Pawn takes pawn d5, bishop takes f3, just like these guys. Bishop takes f3, and I'm up a pawn. But white had like lasting, I'm serious, white had lasting positional compensation, and I ended up losing the simul game from this position. It says like black is almost equal or something like that. You know, but I don't think this guy played c5. I'm not sure that's necessary. White can just play. It's hard for black to get developed. So the actual game went, you know, now back into an exchange variation. Which is, this looks like a really standard position now, except white's like put his knight on f3. Pretty standard stuff here. And now a weird retreat with bishop f5. But why would you retreat to f5? I mean, it's not a bad square, but okay, you're looking for like knight b4. The problem is he can defend knight b4 with like rook c1. So if you play bishop f5 and white plays like d5, what are you going to do? Knight b4, rook c1. I think you just have to. You have to play the normal move here, bishop h5. And there's still tons of games. Miles, Manassian, something like b3. So bishop f5 is weird. d5 looks critical. And you had to go knight e5 because knight b4 is no good. And now your bishop on f5 is funny. White's got the useful prophylactic move. h3, there's no getting to h3. Now white can play like knight d4, keep all the pieces on the board. You can't take on c4. It's queen a4 check. So this was probably a bad move. Although maybe not too bad. This looks even stronger. It's not game over, but I think that white has a sizable advantage here after this move. Black's pieces are going to get tangled up, and there just isn't enough freedom. They're tripping on each other. So maybe he wants to do like what we call the trash compactor on the queen side with c5 and d5. And it's still some advantage for white, but maybe you have time for ooh, c6 d6. Ouch. That's really ugly. Like, you can't do c6 because of d6 just crushing your face. So you can't actually break out Maybe you have to play like knight d7 and just circumvent c5 directly. But it's white to move, so... I mean, c5 looks pretty scary, doesn't it? I don't like this. This is still good for white, huh? This is not a bad move, but every piece you exchange makes you a little bit more comfortable. And now f5. White is still better, but it looks almost like a Najdorf. a3 is too slow. You know, I don't know about e4, but it's a move. And now you can break the center. He has d6 again. Fork City. d6, you're going to have to play bishop f6 and go into blockade mode, but that's probably not so bad. You might be able to blockade. It's on the 6th rank. It's very far advanced. But maybe it's safer not to do that. You know, I think this should have gone back to d7 maybe a while ago. It's badly placed on b6. You can't play c6 unless I'm missing something. You know, he's got the tactic d6 here. He's got it, and you had to do that. You know, this is not optimal. And here you can think about taking on c3, I guess. It doesn't look clear. But d5 is not a permanent outpost, so I'm not sure. You just played knight d7. I don't know about this. White ought to break up that pawn on e4. You know, white could destroy that with... possibly try to destroy that with f3. I don't know. He really ought to try to think about it. Queen d2 doesn't really do anything. And now he's just going with his majority. That's an approach. But you have f4 now. And this move. And f4. And that's a blunder, losing a piece. It looks like it. He can play bishop d4 now. And we're still alive. This appears to drop a piece at first glance. Yeah. So it's a nasty passed pawn, though. I mean, this might not be that easy. You're up a piece, but threatening bishop f4. A little awkward. Wow. So white has some compensation. This is actually kind of crazy. But in a practical game, I'll take black here with the extra piece to win the majority of times. I would rather have the extra piece than the overextended pawns. Man, this guy likes... g6 would be nice to play at some point. But you can't do it just yet. There maybe, what can he do, g5? Could he play g5 here? Just freezing you forever. After g5, I think you're going to have to sacrifice a piece back with like rook d7 or try to reach a equal rook ending or something. I don't know what happened in the game, but now things are a little different. He likes his pawn moves. Uh-oh. Oh no. That looks very unpleasant. If we can sack back the piece for 2 pawns, I'll take it. That's what ooh, knight b8. Holding on. Not a lot of pawns left here. Probably a draw, right? Rook and knight against rook. Walter Brown claimed he could win that. Yeah, so I don't know what happened in the actual game, but this is a draw. All right, lot going on there. Interesting game. The opening is strangely not that much territory that I know of there. But that pawn sacrifice that guy played against me like stunned me. I had never seen anything like that. But I'm not an authority on the Alkine's defense. You mix the moves allowing g5. Yeah, g5 looks strong. Alright, let's go back to some challenges from the subscribers. Dear Santa Claus is not a subscriber. You guys are not subscribers. Why not? Santa Claus. Alright, Troll in a Row is not a subscriber. I'm going to play him anyway. He's been here like since the beginning waiting for a game. But We got no other subscriber challenges. Where are my other subscribers? I guess these guys are playing in the 1 minute. No, it's just for elite players. Maybe Troll like left the building. But Chess 960, he's supposed to have like 40 seconds to think about the move, right? Troll is not he's a subscriber again? Seriously? Uh-oh. Santa Claus came again. The other Santa Claus, the real Santa Claus. I didn't see Troll posting in the stream, so I just assumed he was not a subscriber. Alright. Then I should have played him before. Well, you guys probably told me, but I didn't notice. Can you challenge if you're not a subscriber for fun? Well, yeah, I mean, if I don't have games with the other subscribers, if no one else is challenging me, I will play, you know, a couple other challengers. But Elena loves Sabrina. If, you know, this is the only stream that I do, my 6 streams a week, where I'm really selective. I try to play mostly just the subscribers because it's a stream kind of for them. But we will play other players if there's no one else to play. But like tomorrow morning, I'm going to have a Blitz and Classical stream, 10 a.m. CET, where I'll usually play a mix of both. Troll on a roll. I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, guys, please subscribe on my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training, because I just got a message from YouTube that I have to be at 1,000 subscribers. And I only had like 963 or something. So Video Chess Training on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe over there. Anyway, thank you in advance for that. We just got to get to the 1,000 subscriber threshold. I have been kind of neglecting the YouTube channel in the last couple of weeks, but I'll try to get back and start doing some independent material over there. All right, D4, D5. Let's go symmetric. I've got other game analysis suggestions from Soltigo. Just Soltigo, no one else? Spamming my inbox. No, Soltigo's helping me find more subscribers for YouTube. Knight G3. I want to do the Queen's Gambit. That's Queen, right? There is no Queen side in the... What did we say the A side? It's like being on a ship. There's the starboard and the port, right? We can call it starboard and port. The port is the right side, and the starboard, so we'll call it the port side. Give the stream a nautical feel. On the port side, I don't like blocking in my B hops. I'm gonna have to settle for a knight on G6 at some point, or maybe knight F7, which is grotesque. G6 is also possible. Knight C6 is interesting. Let's do that. It's the Chigorin. My queen is kind of sad on A8. Feels neglected. We're up to 982, Sideshow Bob. Slideshow Bob. Obviously a Simpsons reference. Bishop F4. Oh no. Maybe we turn it into a Black Mardemer. We got no knight on G8 to take on F6. That's kind of... There could be like an elephant gambit kind of thing going on. Like, actually I like it. Wow, E5. Exclam. Sacrificing a pawn. Emery Tate style. Alright, E5. Invoking the memory of the late great Emery Tate. Legendary international master. An escalator victim. It's not right to joke about these things when Emery is gone, but it still was crazy. What am I going to do? Like, Bishop E7, take with the king? Take with the king. I don't think I'm going to have a choice. We're just going to take with the king in the center of the board. Emery had a joke about sex in the center of the board. He said, Mate with the 2 bishops in the middle of the board. It's better than sex. That's what he claimed, but I don't know. He was excited during a blitz game. He like screamed this out in front of like 100 watchers. How mate with the 2 bishops in the middle of the board is better than sex. It was really an epic moment. He was like screaming it. Funny stuff. But knight g6, I don't see an option here for Troll. He's got to play bishop g5. And then we're going to have take with the king. Take with the king and artificially castle. Very creative play by black. You know, Troll is not like the most aggressive player in the world, so maybe he won't punish my king in the center of the board. I do have one reservation about this plan to take with the king. Maybe it's just not realistic. Maybe we just have to suck it up and take with a knight and just pretend I was going to take with the king. Because realistically, it might be too much. I'm concerned about... Wait a minute. King takes a4, knight b4. Then I'm distracted again from the real subject. Knight b4, queen a3, c5. That's funny, isn't it? Alright, well, we only live once. It's a fast game. Let's have some fun. I don't know. My pieces are more active this way if I don't have to take back on e7. It's a little bit unsound. Not the way I normally play chess, but I want to mobilize my pieces and I'm putting that ahead of material. King safety. The bomb cloud opening. So my main line was like a4, knight b4, queen a3, c5. But perhaps there's a million other ways for white to play. Knight c3. Knight c3, bishop e6, obviously. I'm sure that a lot of people who are really tactically oriented play chess 960 in a completely different way than me, where it's just about activating the pieces and they don't even think about pawn structure. You can probably overwhelm a lot of players who are not that strong tactically by playing like an absolute maniac in chess 960. I never really tried to do it like that. I always tried to play strategically. It is harder to get an open position than in normal chess at an early stage, and I find that to be kind of limiting, you know, to your tactical possibilities. What's that? d4, knight f6, bishop g5, d5, c4, knight e4, bishop f4, e5. Question mark or good move? Troll in a roll just trying to carve open the position here with e4. It's weird in a way because like my rooks are connected and yours aren't, you know? I mean, my first inclination was to play d4, but then I'm wondering, like, am I making a mistake here? Even though my king is exposed, I'm getting to the open file first. So is it actually better to take? Kind of a tough call, actually. I mean, if knight c3, I play bishop e6, so I'm kind of indifferent to taking and pushing. I'm talking about tactics in chess 960. Troll is not really a tactical type of player. I don't like to do this black and white classifying players as tactical or positional, you know. I mean, it's really too simplifying, but he leans more toward general solid strategic play rather than playing for tactics. And I think I'm more universal. I'm very hard to classify, and I've joked about it before. If you ask a positional player, if you know what kind of player I am, they say, yeah, he's horrible strategically, but he's like an awesome tactician, very tricky. And then if you ask a tactical player about me, they'll tell you that I'm very strong positionally, but weak tactically. So it's kind of funny. Bishop e6, and we're going to get our pawn back as well. I'm not in a hurry to take on d1 because that actually brings his queen back into the game for him. So we should simply get our pawn back. If a4, threatening my queen, I can trade on d1 and play like rook d8. Or even maybe b6 and c5, blotting out, yeah, there it is, the a3 queen. So rook takes d1, queen takes d1, rook d8. He doesn't have a lot of squares to go to there. Probably e2. And then king f8. He might take back with a knight or something, for all I know. I guess I'll play b6 and c5 if that goes down. We'll block his queen with a c pawn. And anyway, so the b6 mobilizes my queen. Very important concept in chess is the principle of a multi-purpose moves. It's not really a principle, but the concept of a multi-purpose moves that attack and defend at the same time. Now he can sack a piece here, but I pretty much doubt the soundness of that. It's maybe like a desperation kind of move. My king can go to f6. It can probably go to a lot of places, but I think f6 is the safe haven here. Oddly enough, king f6 is very hard to get at my king in this position. And now our pieces are better mobilized than white's. Our rook is in the game, his is not. Our bishop's in the game, his is only half in the game. Black is seriously better now. Basically all pieces mobilized. Close to winning a piece. Now he can castle. We need a nice move right about now. Okay, knight takes d3 check is okay. I don't know if he takes. I thought he would take with the queen. I mean, that's better structurally. Now I'm just trying to get back to a rational position where I just have a strategic advantage. Kind of sold out. But it's this really sad pawn on d3. And we've got knight f4 and stuff like that. It's super nasty. He missed his queen. So, all right, interesting game. I played a little more wildly than I usually do, and it worked. So, dear Santa Claus, I take back. Arsenal fan. Lena 2500. All right, we'll go back to game analysis. What is this, Rakesh? If you guys are subscribing and I don't know about it, like, let me know if you subscribe to the Twitch channel, because you know, if I don't know, I won't know to like analyze your game. It looks like Soltigo. Educational grinding Grunfeld. I saw one of your grinding Grunfelds. It looked pretty unsound, man. Entertaining transvestite and the infamous crushing of Alpha Zero Williams variation. I think I'm gonna have to go for that. I know there was a guy from Russia called himself Alpha Zero. Is that the joke? It was like Google AI or something? Or maybe this is a different joke. I'm gonna go with this one. There's probably like many people with the Alpha Zero account now. It's like a standing joke. Did the stream crash for anyone? Uh-oh. No, I don't think so. We've been off for an hour and a half. No crashes, no drop frames. Since I tweaked some things in the stream with the help of one of the viewers, it's been really, really steady for like a couple months now. So Alpha Zero. There's another like strong Russian player going around with like Google AI account. But he says in his notes that he's like, I'm a human, it's just a joke. Don't associate me with other people with this name and stuff like that. So Nimzovich, I thought you were talking about Nimzo Indian. So it's actually a Nimzovich defense. Yeah, well, anyway, we'll take a look at this. This is a fun line. E4, knight c6. With one of my students today, I was looking at d4, e5. There was a... Now, how did this go? No, the guy played f4 against one of my other students, and my student played e5, and then the guy played knight f3, and this is a really rare variation of the King's Gambit, and believe it or not, like the best move no one's played in this position over 2200. Like, no master has played this. Is supposed to be like the best move for black. That's very strange. Nakamura and a lot of people have played like f5, but no master has played d5. And it's an interesting line, like pawn takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, queen e6. We were looking at it today. It's not easy to find new theory in the openings that's really relevant, and this is like one such line. But okay, some other story. We're in a Nimzovich here. White played knight f3. Yeah, that's the thing. What do you do in the case of knight f3? Miles just played e5 against me, transposing to his beloved Berlin defense. But another fun line I mention sometimes, I like to play this, bishop b5 for fun, just for something different, you know. Knight f3, let's see what you did. d6, my preferred move. So knight c3. Knight c3, well, you know, it's okay. It doesn't have any special independent significance. Black can play either bishop g4 or g6, I guess. Or knight f6 and wait to decide later. You went with bishop g4, okay? And then bishop b5. And yeah, a lot of people react like this. I've always been kind of like happy to play these type positions with black. You know, I don't feel like the doubling pawns on c6 is that great for white. e6 looks fine. You could also maybe think about like queen d7. I mean, it's not out of hand a bad move. I can turn on Stockfish again. Yay. Queen d7 is not good because of d4 maybe. Okay. Well, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah. Queen d7 is perhaps a waste of time. Alright. So almost everyone played a6, including my good friend Zoltan Varga. But it's not absolutely essential to play a6, is it? I mean, it even seems like kind of, speaking of a waste of time. Now e5 would transpose to some kind of weird double king pawn, Steinitz like thing. If e6, the problem is, what do we do now? You know, then I probably had this position in some game I had played with Chris Williams, who's like a 2300 in Boston, and a former student of mine. I think we actually had a game in a position like this with where I was black and he took on c6 pretty early. I don't know, that's experimental and interesting. So you went bishop g4, bishop b5, e6, bishop takes c6, unprovoked taking on c6. And I'm constantly lecturing people about this. Like, people are terrified of conflict, and I guess tension, you know, equates to conflict. Pressure, you know. So everybody is like always like releasing the tension too early. I mean, arguably, black could play like knight e7 and maybe avoid the doubled pawns, but that would really, you know, that would really slow down black's mobilization, and most players probably wouldn't do that. Interestingly, Korchnoi actually played this Nimzovich very early in his career, back in like 1954. I found some creative games. But, yeah, I don't know if you can do like G6 or something like that. It's a little bit too much. So I like the fact that you didn't have to waste the tempo here to induce, you know. Basically, Zoltan Varga and these other good players played A6, forcing the guy to take on C6. You played the useful move E6, and he just exchanged anyway. So you have an improved version. Bishop H5, probably necessary here. You're going to have to allow him to do stuff like G4. And then he goes to try to fix your pawns, but D5 looks fine. You just left this tension. That's alright too. I mean, you could even do this. But the problem is that he might be able to set up a sort of Nimzovichian blockade. I would think there might be some chance he could do like knight a4 and later put a bishop somewhere. It's not that easy though. So I think the d5 is playable. Rook b8, b3, knight e7, and then a4, thinking about bishop a3. But Soltiko is a creative player without a lot of book knowledge, and so he's not biased by that book knowledge, and he can just play a totally unbiased approach. And that gives him some advantages over people who have a lot of book knowledge. His creative ability is higher than most. H5 is going to be a very important thing here, because white is not castled. I think you want to use that. You want to play that card sooner rather than later here with black. It's not absolutely essential, but I think it's a good idea, because his g4 pawn weakens his king side. His king is not that safe. Now, it's totally different. You know, it feels like the normal move is bishop takes d6. The computer here is actually playing c takes d and queen f6. Queen f6 is the kind of move that the computer finds threatening bishop e4, basically winning on the spot. Does it just win on the spot? Well, c7 is going to be hanging for whatever that's worth, but this is a double threat of bishop e4 and queen takes a1. So what does white do now? Apparently he has a resource, queen e2, and threats of queen b5 check. Queen b5 check and bishop a3 is really nasty, and that I don't think I would want to play with black. Wow. Queen b5 check. Whoops, there's my mouse. That's why I couldn't play in any bullet tournaments anytime soon. Soltiko, this looks like it's right up your alley, to be perfectly honest. Not really a lot of clarity in the situation, what's going on. But anyway, fun. Queen f6 is risky but interesting. So you made the normal move here. Bishop takes d6, now d3, and you just castled. How routine of you, but also good enough. Clear advantage to black, I think, even with the routine move castles. And that brings up a point that I make a lot. If you have a really big advantage, like he's basically a pawn up here, strategically speaking, because of white's weaknesses and the two bishops, and the better pawn structure for black, better mobilization, I do make the case that I don't think you should take risks when you are up a lot, you know, in this case like a clear pawn of positional advantage. So castles looks like a sound move. He tries to trade, definitely not. You've got a bishop pair, you don't want to trade it off. Now you go for his king because he's castled into that. I mean, h5 looks really natural. This looks like a kind of tricky move, but it's not clear what you're up to. I mean, this move looks really more to the point. Then you've got the queen f6, queen f4. It's just an easy two-step program. Identify the weakness and attack it. And if you look at white's position, the only weakness is this, you know, and this king side. And if you look and you say, okay, f5, well, that's interesting. I like f5 too. The only downside is that this is becoming a target, the e6 pawn. You give him some counterplay with like queen e2. Whereas like h5, it doesn't really give him any counterplay. I mean, yeah, he can play g5 maybe. But I'm sure that there's a workaround. So queen d7 looks kind of awkward. It's not a bad move. Are you kind of like building up against g4 sneakily? That's what it looks like. It's the sneaky method. That's why we call him Soltigo. Subtle Tigo. Now that's sad. We have to give up our bishop. I don't really like that. But now you don't have that much. What happened here? Now it's just totally playable for white. He has this move with lateral defense of the king side, which was seriously better. And now he starts to drift again. H-file. Material is not so important in obstacle or bishop positions in the middle game. This is no exception. Black is on it, and then he just blundered. I thought queen c6, but white has d4. So queen c7, another subtle Tigo. Saul sent us another game to analyze from a simul. Oh no. The simul game? Oh man. Oh no, that's good. That's fine. I thought you meant the blitz game from the other day I lost. Alright, rook h4, it's over. Yeah, so an interesting struggle, man. I mean, his king is toast here. Looks like he didn't play the best. Okay, queen b4 is a strange way to get in there. So it's not that obvious what the breakthrough is. Do you have e4 and like rook takes f2 check almost? This almost looks like it works. And trying to do like a rook sack on f2. But anyway, good game. Let's go back to the blitz games. Marino, Valencia, Moreno. We will play, it's rated 3-0. We'll play Arsenal fan. Is that Elena Loves Sabrina? Is that you, the 3-0 challenge rated? Oh, that's you. You have to go? Alright. Alright, that's you with a 3-0 challenge. I assume. Maybe not. Arsenal fan. So c4, g6. Arsenal, you're going to repeat the same variation we did the other day. Let's do something different. I'm going to play your favorite Grunfeld defense. I played the Grunfeld with white reversed. I figure I ought to start playing the Grunfeld with black. I've got to shave the beard. I'm becoming a perpetual beard toucher. It's just, we have this international master here in Hungary. Every country has one of those beard guys, and Laszlo Eperjeshi, he's really pretty old now. He's always with the goatee. He's been like stroking the goatee for like 30 years. I'm turning into that. I've got to shave tomorrow. Knight takes d5. You meant the request for an analysis of the game. I know, Saul. I know. We'll go to that next. That was what I thought. So Grunfeld defense. I really ought to play the Grunfeld. I used to play it until I was about 1900. And I don't really know why. I guess I just became more interested in the King's Indian. And so I shifted from the Grunfeld to the King's Indian. But there was no like tragic bad results that I had when I played the Grunfeld. I played the Grunfeld a lot. Blitz games with my friend who was almost a master, and I had decent results with it up to 1900. But the Grunfeld is a really popular opening at all levels. It's also, let's try something funky against him. Let's not. We'll play the main line. You could also play like knight c6. I saw Uncle Yermo do that a few times. Samagan variation. But this is main line for white. I'm not really up on my theory. I'm probably still gonna play like Kasparov-Karpov from 1990. They had some good games. The bishop g4 here, but I don't have to play that line. We can play the older line, queen c7. This is actually what I played 30 years ago. That's scary to say that, though. I played this 30 years ago. (1988). But thanks you guys for subscribing. Try to get the YouTube channel Video Chess Trading to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate the help we already got tonight, and I'm sure we'll make the goal of 1,000 subscribers with lots to spare. I think Soltiga was spamming other chess streams today to help me. Not necessary, man. So the queen c7 is an older line. Kasparov-Karpov, of course, features the bishop g4. There's bishop g4, f3, knight a5, which is still theoretical to this day. Alright, Arsenal fan must have gone to the opening encyclopedia or something. No, I'm just kidding. f4 right away. Maybe it is a move. No, it's like a move the next move. Like, normally queen... I haven't played this in seriously in ages, but normally queen d2? Or maybe bishop d3? I think I had a game a little bit later on. I was still playing the Grunfeld on occasion up until like 1991 probably. So we can take on d4. Take. Bishop takes, queen takes e4. I mean, okay, take. Bishop takes f7. Rook takes f7. And then like bishop takes d4. What is the deal with that? I've never actually analyzed this. Rook d8. d5 doesn't look right. Well, I also have other moves, special players who they invite. The Romanician joke I've probably told too many times here. The Russians will invite special players, but that's for drinking contests only. I'm talking about. Knight takes d4, bishop takes f7 check, rook takes f7, bishop takes d4, and then I can do like any number of interesting things. But is it good enough, you know, or should I do something weird like knight e5 here? He just has a strong center, I think. And then there's bishop g4, just putting more pressure on d4. That's kind of hard to argue with. He might have funkadelic moves like bishop g4, rook c1. Again, defending and attacking at the same time. I don't know. Knight takes d4. Bishop takes d4. I'm winning a pawn clear. But knight takes d4, bishop takes f7, rook takes f7. Bishop takes d4. That's kind of irritating. I would have like e5. He even has intermezzos with rook c1 and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on there. This to me is not that obvious. Bishop g4 feels wrong, but I am putting a lot of pressure on the center. Alright, I don't know. The internet is weird. What catched on and what doesn't. I posted a guy with 500 videos playing a potato, and now the video is sitting on 2.5 million views. I guess the weirder it is, the better. So he played rook c1. Now, I did mention this, didn't I? But I didn't mention that I thought I could just pile up on d4. This defends the bishop, but it still doesn't resolve d4. But there may be other issues. What if I... What do I do? What if I get in some kind of terminal pin or something I can't get out of? Okay, it's a good game. I don't know where the theory stands in this. Alright, well, he has 2 minutes more than me, but I think my position is okay. Wait for him to panic. The YouTube channels, yeah. Well, I'm not that, you know, I don't expect any chess channel to get to 1 million subscribers. Like, nobody has. I mean, the Chess Center of St. Louis is like the most one I know. Magnus Carlsen could maybe do it if he, you know, if he really cared about a YouTube channel, or Kasparov or something. But like in 10 years, we probably won't even know what YouTube is. There'll be another media. So I don't want to devote my life to it. Queen b6. Pressuring d4 is logical, but he has a way out. I feel like I probably just should have taken on d4 in the first place. Now, fortunately, I have no idea what I'm doing. There's some funky stuff going on here. He's got the d5 in between move, and then I sack my queen on e3. That's the tactic out of the Marazzi. d5, queen takes e3. Queen takes e3, bishop d4, surprise! I could also just simply do like bishop d4. So that's not on. He basically messed up, luckily for me, because I think he had e5. e5 wouldn't have been that bad. E5 would have been playable. Now he's simply just down a pawn for nothing. But anyway, it's still not that easy to convert. Heavy piece endgames. My knight is not stable. But let's try to maximize what we've got here. A strong knight doesn't have a permanent outpost. But we can probably think about rook d8. We can think about just screwing that and taking his bishop, which could become dangerous. Look, I've got a pawn up, and my king is a little safer than yours. Because of the back rank, and in order to unback rank yourself, you're going to have to play h3. And I think your king is at least as open as mine. Plus, you're minus the pawn on the queen side. Okay, it's a long way from a winning position, at least in the obvious sense. But black is clearly better. We managed to win the central pawn, and the pressure on the center from the Grunfeld is very thematic. There we go. We've got to mobilize the queen side and try to stay as active as possible. I'm going to go over Saul's game next. Yeah, that my mouse did a weird thing there, but I think it was maybe just an internet hiccup. Oh, his center is just hanging. That's awkward. Yeah, he's just falling apart. Okay, nobody said it was easy to be a pawn down in this kind of position, but he could have defended better. All right. I don't want to drop my queen side. Rook d8 looks like a really, really strong move. Straight out of... Although... I'm still not going to be able to checkmate him. He has rook e1 tricks too. So I'm probably best off... I don't know what I'm best off doing. I was thinking of taking on c1 and playing like rook d2 to paralyze him. He played this differently than I expected. Queen c6. We'll just go in circles. I mean, I'm up 2 pawns, so it's got to be winning as long as I'm up 2 pawns. That's all that matters. But I do have to keep everything protected. Okay, that was the mouse. I don't know if you're going to give me a take back. You don't have to. It's alright. I'll just resign. Good game. I meant to play queen d6. But I would normally give somebody a take back for a mouse slip like that. Alright, let's go to... Actually, Arsenal fan, you might have given me a take back. I don't know. You should. But I didn't give you time to really think about it. It's an unrated game, so I think we should do take backs. But I'm not going to force you guys to give me take backs when you're 2 pawns down. Alright, let's go to game analysis. That's my mouse. It just drops pieces in the middle of my moves. I meant to play queen d6, but if for some reason, like maybe it's like a spring or something in the mouse, just releases the piece prematurely. I was like twitching. I was so freaked out. You would never ask for a take back in an unrated game. I mean, I can see in a rated game. Tricks Only is streaming now and Chess Network. I hope I'm not like... Let's just play this 3-0 rated game here with Marina, Valencia, Moreno. And then I'll do the game analysis with Saul. Normally I don't play anything but increment unrated. But we'll see what happens here. But if they're not here, we'll move on to the game analysis with Saul. This will be pretty fast because it's 3-0. My mouse was better and then it got worse again. It didn't do it for like a while. I meant to play d4 there. Then we get to transpose. But that was typical. Like that happened to me the other day. Now knight takes e5. Knight takes e5 is kind of interesting. You can take on d4 here. I wonder if knight takes e5 is even the best move. Maybe I should do pawn takes e5. But I thought this would be fun. I really thought this would be more fun. We got another Grunfeld. But this mouse has to go. It almost cost me a rapid game the other day where I just luckily like dropped the piece on a square where it didn't hang. Yeah, I wouldn't ask anybody to give me a take back in a rated game, but since it's like, you know, for the stream, for like instruction purposes, I thought it's better to just, you know, I normally give people a take back every stream. I'm not crying about it, but it doesn't matter to me, you know, just it's sort of lame to end the game like that. It's another Grunfeld, and we've got a couple pawns up. Marina didn't play the opening. Well, yeah, ignored me when I played d4, moving too fast. Just take your time and relax. It's a fast time control, though. You should challenge me to something a little bit slower. Maybe you're used to playing like 3-0, but I hope the mouse doesn't drop something again. But black isn't hopeless here. We need to use the kingside pawn majority. I'm normally not playing time controls this fast, though, on the stream. We need to use the kingside pawn majority. You know, f4, e5, and roll over. The black position is really in trouble. But we will go to another game analysis after this commercial break, basically. Okay, that's an interesting move, and there are tactics on the diagonal now, so I wonder if black has something here. Knight takes c4, knight takes c4. Luckily, I have like f5, knight takes d6 in between move, and white doesn't lose a piece. This covers both bishop c5 and queen b6 on the diagonal. Black should be looking for those Benoni tactics with knight takes e4. I really had like a muscle spasm when I hung my what was it, a queen, a rook against Arsenal fan. Yeah, we don't need to even do that. I think bishop d4 is good. That's a very strong position for the bishop on d4. And the knight on h7 can't play. She's going to get squashed. But the opening was the problem. Moving too quickly and allowing that. However, I decided to give the pawn back in the opening. It wasn't necessarily the best. Is that my mouse, or is that just like weird lag? Why it's like twitching when I do rook e1? I think we should complete our development here. Maybe something solid, queen d2, rook a d1, and then mobilize. Maybe it's too late though. I have to do e5 here before she can pile up on the dark square diagonal. This was an important move. I don't want to let black play like queen b8 or queen c7, queen b8 maybe, and do some real damage to me. Even here, it's just too strong to pass pawns. But black can blockade to some degree. It's too strong for white. I don't know which is the better move. Either way, black has a kind of temporary blockade of my pawns. d6. We just take here, and then d6. The pawns are just too strong. I mean, e7. I'm not even thinking. Too much. Too much. So the opening was just bad. Our second Grunfeld in a row. I'm not going to do a rematch. I've got to go to the game analysis. Yeah, here, okay, I mean, I play d4. You can't just ignore, I mean, you can't play e5, basically. You can't play e5. You tried it. Probably I should play pawn takes e5, I guess. But I don't know why I just wanted to try this. It's actually not that great, though. I was going to play c4 now. It's good for white, but it's not as good as just straight up playing like d takes e5. That's much stronger. So anyways, guys, the game analysis with S4. Um, you're going to press the take back when I resign. I don't want to beg for a take back, though. It's such a bad example. All right, this is S4. Miles defense. What? Well, that's weird. I was just looking at that. Maybe S4 purposely brought this game because I just mentioned it in the beginning of the stream. Maybe it's a coincidence. Is this a coincidence? Marantz CM 2500 in rapid. Now wait a minute. Did I play this guy? ImperialChess.org. That's weird. Huh. I think I might have played this guy. Wait, games? Games with you? No. No games with me, so it couldn't have been him. Alright. Alright, going back to the game analysis. Whoops. Saul. Guys, the stream is going for another 20 minutes, but I just want to remind you that we have a viewer stream tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Blitz and Rapid Chess. So Saul is white, and I played this against I was black against Alexander Manea. Marius Cyprian is there. He's a Romanian commentating, but we were talking about this ironically earlier, and I was talking about knight f3, and it's very strange, you know. I mean, was this the game? Yeah. So what's strange is, like, this is the best move according to Stockfish. And check it out. No games in the master database. No games. I mean, look at the position. Knight d5, I mean, d5, it's like a Falkbeer. This is obviously, like, the most logical move in the world. I think against Manea, I played, like, pawn takes f4, transposing to some kind of weird, you know, accepted King's Gambit. There's the game against Manea from 2007. It was a draw. But honestly, d5, we looked at this earlier. It's kind of crazy. Like, pawn takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, queen e6, and now bishop to b5. And now black could play bishop d7, but I was looking at this earlier today. E takes f4 check, king f2, followed by the engine suggesting here queen h6. And this looks kind of okay. Stockfish says it's equal for black, but it also has a feeling of like Steinitz versus NN 1878 1-0, you know. I mean, this absolutely looks like, it absolutely looks like some kind of King's Gambit from 100 years ago, 150 years ago, that, like, you know, some world champion wiped out Master X, you know, in a simultaneous exhibition or something. I mean, this is a position where white might have the dynamic edge, but it's kind of crazy. But the really shocking thing about it is that there's not a single game, master game with d5. There are some amateur games. But I was going to suggest here for black bishop c5. There are also very, very few games in this line. But if you look back in history, games that are not in the lichess database, there are quite a few. Actually, there's even one Najdorf game that he played in a blindfold simul with white. Najdorf played like pawn takes e5, knight takes e5, and I think c3, which turns out to be maybe the best move for white. But there's another variation, knight takes e5, queen h4 check, g3, and this may be critical. Queen takes e4 check, queen e2, queen takes h1, knight g6 check, knight e7, knight takes h8, and white is slightly better. That's the end of the analysis, basically. Stockfish is kicking up a 1 pawn advantage now, but I think it goes down. it may have a hard time evaluating the situation with the knight getting trapped potentially in the corner of the board. But it's really a lot of interesting stuff that hasn't been explored. So this knight c6 move in particular is like a somehow kind of forgotten variation. So you played knight f3, he played f5, and this was played by these guys. I mean, Nakamura, Mamedyarov, it's gotten some attention from some crazy guys. f5, e takes f5, so where is Nefyadov? Where are you, Nefyadov is not here. I think Nefyadov was referring to this as kind of like King's Gambit. Like a King's Gambit in reverse, almost. Apparently this is critical. E takes f5, e4. Looks logical. You could also take on f4 symmetrically. But why did this Nakamura games and such not go this way? Those guys played d4? No. Knight c3? Can we try that? No. Well, that's weird. What was played in those games then? It had to be e takes f5, but then the games are disappearing. Why? What other move is there? d3? Yeah, Ivanchuk played d3. God, that's lame. And he won against Nakamura. I mean, d3 has got to be like the lamest move in the world here. Second best move according to the engine. That's crazy. Wow. d3 looks so slow. So you played e takes f5, e4. I guess Ivanchuk didn't like this, kind of giving black a little initiative. Knight e5. Also possible to play knight g5, apparently, but that's worse. So knight e5, knight f6, bishop e2. And Saul played bishop e2. Engine doesn't like it. It's certainly not a terrible move. The Abilene, it's like the Albin, but it's the Abilene. Abilene, they play Texas and Abilene. I mean, they play Abilene. They play chess, just poker. Can't talk. I'm malfunctioning. Knight c3, that one beer must have really did something to me. Alexis Cabrera. Well, whatever. I mean, bishop e2 looks okay. I guess this bishop h5 check is a little artificial. That's the problem. d6 is a bad move, though. I mean, only this move will call bishop h5 into question. What's going to happen now on bishop h5 check? Ari Ziegler, 1998, against Daniel Westerbeek Peterson. Okay, there's like knight f7, but then there's queen e8 or something crazy. King f8, knight f7, queen e8. Is that it? That's the secret move. That refutes that thing. That's game over, I guess, queen e8. So that's why bishop c5 has to be played. Black has an answer to bishop h5. Okay, the actual game was d6, and it's too passive. So now bishop h5 check is just strong. But he didn't pull the trigger on bishop h5 check. It looks like you can still try king e7, knight f7, queen e8. Okay. That's a little weird, actually. This is still okay for black. Wow. Not as good as the other line. That's insane. Because of this ridiculous line g4, knight takes h5. But okay, so Saul, maybe you made a good decision not to play bishop h5. Maybe it's just not working. It's just too artificial. So you take here, b takes c6, and settle for like a tiny advantage maybe for white. Did you play g4? You didn't play g4 because of h5. It looks like a Latvian. This is extremely. Is it possible this is a Latvian transposition? It looks like some line I saw in the Latvian. with knight c6 Latvian, where white like plays quietly. So g4 h5, right? Oh, you have a nasty tactic there. This isn't so good actually. g5. You can play like the King's Gambit and sack a piece, but I don't know about that. You have this. Oh shit. What? Queen h4 check, king f1. This is good to know about. And then h5. I bet Ivanchuk knows about that. Whoa, sorry. Sorry. So we were just looking at which line? Where did it go to? It's not getting saved. Oh no. Here it is. Yeah, bishop e2. Well, that's crazy. Totally morphy. So apparently this is just winning for black. You're up a piece and just lost. Because the white king is too exposed. I mean, d5 is going to come. And bishop c5, and it's a disaster. So that's pretty cool. So g4 is out. You played castles, bishop takes f5, and then g4. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, I would expect like a safe move like d3, but black might even be better there. So you play g4. This is really interesting. Man, but you need to develop the rest of your pieces here. I mean, I don't care how you do it, but you've got to develop the rest of your pieces quickly. Now your pawns are getting kind of messed up on the king side. Man, this is insane. It looks very, very risky to do this. Wow, he sacked a piece here. Best move. Maybe forced. Knight g8 is possible though. I mean, a lot of materialistic players would have played this. Then bishop h5 check. That's pretty nasty. So, okay, he just sacks a piece out of desperation. King h1. What if you take on f6? I mean, I would expect you to take. King h1 is amazing. Wow, bishop d6, nice move. Queen e1. This queen side, the queen side is just, you got to get it developed somehow, and you've neglected doing that. I thought, I got to play d4 and knight c3 and try to get your pieces out. You're just neglecting your queen side too much. And that's what happened here. Still, everybody's at home on the queen side. Now black is actually better. Finally completing development. But it's already better for black. You have f6. It's kind of hard to resist f6 here. But this is a problem, the hanging rook. Oh, that's the problem. Finally, we've got development, so we're okay again. But he has bishop takes g5. It's pretty difficult to see not doing this. I guess black didn't understand, you know, what's going on here. The tide is just turned again, and now white is better again after not taking that pawn. Though it's obviously scary. Bishop c6. And then another blunder. This is awkward. Yeah, maybe you should consider not taking that pawn, man. I mean, this is dangerous. I don't think that that's a good idea. I mean, you need that pawn. The pawn is actually, it's actually sheltering your king on h1. This is a very bad mistake. Nimzovich would not take the pawn on e4. He'd be very happy that that pawn is protecting his king. Now, you got to go with something else. f6. I know the rook on f1 is not protected. But this just makes too much sense. If pawn takes g5, what do we do? Like this looks kind of scary. Rook takes f1, king g2. I guess we take back on e7. Oh man, this is where Computerville comes in. Queen c8. Bishop takes d7. Oh, the queen is hanging. Oh man, I forgot. Alright, never mind. Yeah, so f6, this is not good. f6, and let's say he takes on g5. You can just take back with the bishop. Develop, develop, develop. Development is single most important priority in chess. And also the game you got lucky where you won the other day against me was sort of similar. You were neglecting your development a little bit. You eventually tricked me, but I felt like white, wasn't developing enough in that game. This is really chronically like forgetting about your development. Bishop takes g5 and you're lucky, you're winning. Alright, so knight takes e4 and then you're like in danger again. What a game. Rook e1, knight d6, and then f6. And so black should have won. It's hard to find bishop takes f6 though. That's a kind of unnatural move that is strongest according to the computer. I don't think I would have found it. Like bishop takes f6, let's say g takes f6, rook takes f6, and then this is just gonna fall. So it's like a temporary investment, and then black wins back his material. And the white king is unsafe. Surprising how crushing it is. He's not even up that much material, but no, this was a wild game, hard to analyze in a short period of time. And then another turn of events. I have a feeling there's a very beautiful mate coming on or something. Saul also got a brutal win against me the other day. An unexpected tactic. Bishop f5 check, king here, bishop takes e4. Okay, now you're just simply getting your pawn back, and finally the position is clarified. Craziness. Now black sacks a piece anyway, just for good measure, and white is up a piece for a pawn, and that should be the end of the circus. Still, there's one last trick. Got to give up the b2 pawn. That's kind of awkward, admittedly. Wow. Now it's only 3 pawns left on the board. Now apparently you had bishop takes h6, scary move to play, and this move, queen takes c2, another pawn, rook g1. He goes for the trade, but you had this move, and now you've got 2 rook pawns remaining. 2 rook pawns. One of them is the wrong color. Queen e square. This is the wrong color rook pawn. You got the correct color to promote on h8. Wow, black is alive again. Oh my god. This is certainly a draw. There's just the wrong color rook pawn left. But maybe that doesn't matter that much. We've got more pieces on the board than just the rook and bishop. There's 2 sets of rooks. More than just the bishop and pawn. A lot of tactics with 2 sets of pieces on the board. You're probably winning anyway. Yeah, it looks like you got under control there. Alright, that was a crazy game. Very interesting opening. I think that the move order doesn't arise very often. But black, what is it? Timeout? Oh, you lost on time at the end? Oh, seriously? Black declines a draw for a win on time? Oh, man. Rapid casual. It wasn't even rated, and he declined a draw? Oh, man, that's nasty. Really interesting game, though. I'm going to close out the stream, guys. It's 9:30. I want to thank you guys for watching and subscribing. Please tune into my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. I throw all the streams over there when they're done, so you can always find an odd stream and check it out. I still need a couple subscribers on the YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube, and we always need more subscribers here on Twitch. Slaggy on Twitch. We're here tomorrow morning, Friday, 10 a.m. with Blitz and Classical Chess, or Blitz and Rapid Chess. And I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you to the donations we've had. For the donations we've had already, a couple of donations for the beginning of the year via PayPal, and I will put that toward eventually buying a new mouse once I can get time to get out of the house and go to the store. We will no longer drop pieces, you know, in the path of our current move. What else is up? So tomorrow morning, Friday, 10 a.m. we've got a simul on Sunday. It's going to be a modified time control that will last about 2.5 hours. So 2.5 hours simul on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. CET on Sunday. Because I do have a team game in the morning, I'm going to modify the time control from last time because I was like flagging in all my games. Hopefully that won't happen. Give myself a little more time and a little less time for you guys. We'll keep it competitive. That's what's up. All right. So anyway, guys, thanks for supporting me on YouTube and here on Twitch and on lichess. I hope you enjoyed it. We had some interesting games. Saul's game, like this King's Gambit, it was a typical practical game. But just like really difficult because the advantage changed hands like so many times. It's hard to go over it in like 10 or 15 minutes, which is what I try to do. But that's it, guys. So anyway, Soltigo, thanks for subscribing and moderating, and thanks you guys for subscribing. I'm getting kind of tired, so it's time to go to bed. Had a long day. That's it. All right. Thanks again, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye bye.